Welcome to the Inner Sauce. It's a podcast about stuff. Yeah. Hello, SauceyFam. How are you? Welcome back to the Inner Sauce, the Tiz podcast, episode 2 underway. I hope you guys are doing well, man. Happy Monday to my patrons. Happy Friday to everybody else. Yeah, it has been quite the July. I recorded episode 1, got it posted everywhere, got the podcast approved on all the big platforms, and I was all excited, and then bam! Life said, not so fast, sir. So, here we are. Nonetheless, we're back. Better late than never, I suppose. One thing that I wanted to really try to do as soon as possible is get back on the release schedule. So, today is Monday. The patrons, aka the Saucytrons, will be seeing this in video form today, Monday. And then this upcoming Friday, it will go live everywhere that you can find a podcast, including YouTube. I will post this video on YouTube, and yeah. So, you know, when I thought about doing this, the podcast that is, I was so ambitious about it because I find myself listening to all the people in my life and whatever their struggles happen to be. And I always feel like in the back of my head, like, man, I have a whole spiel that I could go off on about this. Because I've mentioned a couple times, I was very fortunate. Very fortunate. I was born into some very incredible parents. My dad is an amazing man. Taught me everything there is to be about being an amazing man. My mother, an amazing woman, taught me everything there is to teach about being an amazing woman. You know, we had our path, we had our road. It wasn't all unicorns and rainbows, as most of you know. But that doesn't take anything away from the examples that they set for me and everything that they taught me growing up. And I just feel like that's really where I'm pulling from when I share a lot of this stuff, where that's kind of where a lot of my forming of opinions comes from, if you will. For instance, this week, I would like to talk about, this is a big word, it's kind of a dirty word these days, compromise. Yeah. Oh yeah, we're doing that. We're doing that. Now, again, just a little disclaimer, okay? For any Karens getting all excited in the comments on any of these, wherever I post this thing. I am not a mental health expert, a relationship expert, a marriage counselor, a psychologist. I am none of the above. I have no education in that space. I technically know nothing, okay? These are just SauceyDad's opinions. Life experience, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, man, compromise. You know, I'm at an interesting point in my life where Saucy Mom and I have been together going on 15 years now. Just mind-boggling to even say that. But it's true. We have 3 kids, 3 amazing kids together. And we talk about it quite often, mainly because We both have siblings. Our siblings are starting families, if you will. And I guess we just kind of... We took it... I don't know that we took it for granted, but it's like we didn't even notice how different we were until kind of recently, to be honest. She asked me, I think it was last night, when's the last... Like, what... Did we ever fight? Like, do we fight, she says. I'm like, no, we don't. We never did, though. No. I mean, we had a couple good arguments when we were younger. You know, we had 3 kids by the time we were 23 and 24. So, yeah, we had our days that life got the better of us. But no, we don't fight. And she's an amazing mom. She's an incredible mom. She's an incredible companion to me. She's my best friend. And I don't mean that in the... I don't know how I could possibly say that without it being corny. But you know what? Call me corny. I really don't care. It is what it is. She is literally... She's not just my best friend. She's my only friend. And there's nothing wrong with that, you know? Some of you guys know, but I come from I had an interesting, challenging road as a teenager. And because of that, I eventually had to part ways with everybody that I associated with. Because, you know, when you stripped away all the things that we did together, there was no real friendships there. There was never really any genuine care. So yeah. Anywho, that's for episodes down the road. But compromise. So we get this kind of interesting perspective where we watch our siblings go through these... go through these issues, these problems, starting out their families. And I try to be very careful. I think that's, to be totally honest, one of the big reasons why we do not fight. And I think this all kind of bleeds into compromise, which is why that's the main theme of today. But I hate sounding like I'm patting myself on the back, but it's just a reality. It's just a fact. It is just a fact. I am a very quiet, reserved person when met with confrontation. I'm very analytical. I'm very observant. I run through a bunch of different outcomes in my head before I say whatever I want to say, or sometimes I don't say anything at all. More often than not, I don't say anything at all. And this is kind of where I'm going with this. Much like gratitude from episode 1, compromise is a lost art. It's a lost art. I know a majority of my audience is older than me, so you may not be able to relate to this as much, but I'm positive a lot of you can. But man, this younger generation, you know, the around 20s or so, the generation that's just now starting families, it's a lost art. There is no compromise. And for some reason, I don't even know what to call it, to be honest, but I feel like there's been this weird shift in relationship dynamics where the man is because you have all these marriage stereotypes, right? That comics pull from all the time, or used to anyways. It's going to fade away because they're not true anymore. But you get all these, the toilet seat was up, or you're sleeping on the couch, or you're in the doghouse, or she's not going to take that, or she's not going to... Because that's how it's always been. Because another disclaimer here, I always want to make sure I cover my bases. You guys know I'm coming from a place of sincerity, love. I don't mean to misspeak. I don't mean to offend. I don't mean to do anything like that. The gender of whoever I'm talking about in these episodes is totally irrelevant. That statement goes forever. Okay? This is for a man and a man, a woman and a woman. I don't care. Okay? A unicorn and a pixie fairy. I don't care. The bottom line is compromise is just fizzled away. And there's just, like I'm saying, this weird shift has happened where it's like, and I'm going to say the men in the relationship because that's just the most typical scenario, right? And it's certainly the stereotypical scenario, which is the man and the woman have a family. The woman kind of is the boss, right? And it's like these, I'm not going to call them men, but these boys, and you can apply this to however it fits for you. If this is your other half and the boy in your relationship is a female, great. I'm speaking from my life experience in these episodes, okay? Again, absolutely no offense. I love everybody. You guys all know how I feel on that stuff by now. So just want to make sure I cover those bases. But, yes, these boys are so hung up on being right or putting their foot down. And it's just, well, if it's not going to be my way, then I'm just going to leave. I don't care. I'll just pay child support. It is absolutely crazy to me. And again, a lot of this is because of my childhood and the examples that I had to look to as far as parents and grandparents go. I just can't believe it. It's wild. It's wild. It's so sad. So many kids grow up now having to walk this weird tightrope. And it just, man, does it cause all kinds of mental gymnastics. It's just not fair. All the things that come with two homes. All of them. All of them. There is a lot. If you know, then you know. If you've experienced it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. All the things that come with two homes and trying not to say something that's going to hurt this parent's feelings, Something happens while you're over here at this parent, and then you come back to this parent's house, whatever the custody share is. You go back to their house for whatever their days are, and you say something that you didn't even know was going to be hurtful or send them over the edge, and then boom, you're in this place now, It's just not fair. Again, that's another episode. But my point is, there's so many kids in that place today for the silliest of reasons. Because you had to be right? I was going to make this episode about our need to be right, but then I really started thinking about it and all the different scenarios and kind of the dynamics of the whole thing. And it really boils down to compromise. What are you willing to compromise for the people around you? Or is number one just so amazing and just so much more important than everybody else that you can't leave the simplest of arguments without having the last word, without being right? I'm going to tell you what, I'm wrong several times a week. But you'll never hear me argue it. You'll never hear me debate it, because 99.9% of the time is the argument about something that's going to alter your tomorrow? Is the argument something that's going to alter your next month, your next week? Is it something that's going to... Is it something worth fighting over? Or is it simply your ego and your pride and your just total unwillingness to compromise? And I feel like this is one of the main things that I really took from my old man. Is somebody says something to me, particularly my wife, okay, again, speaking from life experience. You know, if we're just talking about something or whatever, just having conversation, and she says something that I feel is incorrect or whatever, or maybe I know it's incorrect. Let's say, in this example, because this happens quite often, she says something that I know, like for a fact, is not correct. So I'll say, oh no, actually, it's blah, 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 blah. And she'll say, no, because I saw blah, 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 or whatever. And I'm just like, oh, no kidding. Well, I thought it was, but I know I'm right. But it's done. It's over. Literally never happened. It never happened. And it's very funny how these things kind of all work out in the wash if you just kind of live that way. Maybe 4 days later or a few days later, maybe the next day, who knows, a week later, that same topic comes up because they discovered one way or another, oh, no kidding. So it's, and they'll never say, oh, you were right. But why do you need to hear that? You know you were. Do you want a cookie? Do you want a trophy? Do you want her to bow down and wash her shoes? Like, what do you want? Who cares? Good for you. You were right. That's awesome. Do you need an audience? Do you need an applause every time you're right? I just don't know. I can't figure it out. I don't know what it is, because the amount of turmoil that people cause themselves these days, just because of their desire and need to be right, and total unwillingness to compromise. I just don't get it. I don't get it. It is so easy to just avoid all that. So when she makes comments like that to me, like, yeah, it's so weird. We don't fight. And I'm just smiling in my head. On the surface, no, we really don't. And we don't. She's absolutely right. But in my head, I'm smiling, and I'm really thanking my dad in that moment. And all the great adult examples that I had as a kid. Because it's just who I am at this point. It's just like my natural instinct in those situations is to say either what I know is the right answer or what I strongly feel is the right answer. And if the very next response, your other half, okay, you know them. You can tell immediately, is this something that is debatable? Meaning, are they actually like listening? Because if not, who cares? Who cares? Let her be right, even if she's wrong. Or, hey, darling, let him be right sometimes, even if he's wrong. Who cares? We're worried about the wrong things. And you can't tell me this doesn't exist, because I can't even tell you how many examples I see of it in my life. I can't even tell you. And it's funny to me, almost, how many different times our relationship could have been over. I mean, in 15 years, probably hundreds, if I reacted the way that most people react today. Why? You're making your life worse. It's just tension. And then after a while of living like that, this is another thing that I see. After a while of living where it's a contest, everything is a contest of who's right, which is so common. You can't tell me that you don't know people like this, because I know you do. You can't tell me you don't. But after a while, that contest turns into resentment. And then Captain Ego over here, a couple years into it, a couple kids into it, you prove her wrong on the wrong thing, and boom. Now it's resentment. Now it's relationship ending. Over what? Oh, like, what was it really about? Did it matter? Did you have to be right? Like, who cares? I just don't understand. I really don't understand, and it breaks my heart for the kids. It breaks my heart for them, because if you live like that and you think like that, well, nobody's going to run me. Nobody's running anybody. It's about respect. Like, take me for example. This is just my firsthand experience, my life experience. My wife does the majority of the kids' duties. She just does. Not because of, I'm a 19th century whatever. It's just kind of the way our dynamic has always worked. I've always been the one to work 60, 70 hours a week, and she's raised the kids. And then I am very family involved the second that I get home, which is why this whole endeavor is so important to me, so that I can really start to take more and more and more and more off her plate day by day, week by week, as this thing evolves. But yeah, man, I just don't know. Like, I don't. Okay. I'm trying to think of examples here. I was eating in the living room. It's my house. I pay the mortgage, okay? Do you think I would I ever say that? I was eating in the living room. This is my house. It's our house. But I pay the mortgage. I pay the light bill, right? She went in the living room and she was just kind of stressed. The kids were giving her a hard time. She was just had it, As adults do. It happens. It's life. It gets to be frustrating. Sometimes every day. It's not up to you to decide somebody else's limits. But you know what? It's totally in your hands to be the one. Instead of adding that straw on the camel's back, you could take one off. I was in the kitchen and she got kind of mad. Can you not eat in the living room? I tell the kids, and why would they listen if... I'm being totally transparent. Because this is, for one, it's a very rare occurrence. Okay? We both totally respect each other. We love each other. And she is amazing to me. So I have no problem sharing. She wouldn't care if I shared this. I have my days. Best believe I have my days, especially recently. But the moment she says that, how do I react? And I'm not going to lie, I'm not an alien. I'm a human being. So the second she says that, I kind of feel some kind of way. But I don't know, it's just some kind of natural reflex that I have to those things where I just kind of let myself feel it for a second and then it's gone. And you know what I say? I don't say, I'll eat wherever I want. I pay the mortgage, which is, I'm going to tell you right now, out of the 6 couples in our life, in our families, I'm guessing the other 6 would all say those things. You're not going to tell me where to eat in my house. Something along those lines. I pay the bill. Something along those lines. You know what I said? You're right, babe. I'm sorry. Guys, I shouldn't have eaten in the living room. Your mom is right. Do not eat in the living room. And done. Done. That totally in the past. There's no lingering turmoil. There's no lingering tension. It's over. It's done. It's over. But if I had to be right, if I had to put my foot down and flex my muscles, it would still be going on. It would just linger, and it would bleed into the next argument, the next argument, the next thing that comes up. But that's just how I live. That's just how I live. Unless you're, I don't know, risking my safety of life, it's not worth it to me. It's just not. I will offer what I feel is the right answer or how I feel about something. And if your next words are AKA I'm not into hearing that. Oh, okay. I see. No, you're right. Yeah, you're right. That's my response. Or I'll just, oh, no kidding. I didn't know that. And it's just done. It's not worth it. All the things that you put into motion when you do that, it's just not worth it. It doesn't seem like a big deal now. But I'm telling you what, every single day that those things occur, you're just adding on the pile. Adding on the pile. It just gets bigger. And then all of a sudden, crash. It's too bad. It really is too bad. It's totally unnecessary, I guess. That's just kind of where I'm at with it, you know? Yeah. You don't have to be right. Compromise some, I don't even know what you'd call it. Is it really pride? Don't tell me it's pride. I know it is in some cases, but it's just not, like, it's so sad to even say that. Really? Who are you trying to impress? I don't know. I don't know. Hopefully I got my point across. It's just really frustrating to see because it's literally it's in the process of ending relationships that are close to my wife and I as we speak. Because, you know, she talks to either her siblings or some of their spouses, and the stuff that they're complaining or talking about, this is just all that comes into my head. It's like, yeah, well, he's got to be right. Or he's probably never once said thank you. You know, I don't know. It's really not that hard. I feel like, again, I am so far from perfect that it's not even worth bringing up. Okay, so please don't get it twisted for that. I am no king-ish. But I do feel like I have a really good handle on what it takes to have a compromising, equally loving relationship. We're 15 years in with 3 kids. We've been through it all. We met each other at almost at the peak of our addictions, both of us. We found help together a couple years later. We got clean together a couple years later. Had 3 kids, and we're still here 15 years later. You can't tell me that you know many couples like that. You can't, because I'm still very involved in the recovery field because I'm very passionate about it. And that's just not how it usually ends. But my point is, it very easily could have. It so easily could have. And not everybody. My other half, to be honest, she didn't have those kind of examples growing up. So the natural instincts when arguing or debating something is sometimes to be more aggressive about your stance or what you think is the right answer or whatever it might be. So me, having had those examples, and again, this isn't like a conscious thought that I'm having during these moments. At this point, it's just my natural reaction. It's just who I am. It's how I deal with these situations, moments. And I gotta tell you, we are very happy. Just talking about it last night, that, you know, we're very, very happy. I'm about to be 34. I could not, and again, at the risk of sounding cliche and all these other things, corny, I literally can't picture my life with anybody else. I can't. But I don't know. I guess I just don't have that big of an ego, or I'm better at keeping my pride at bay or something. I don't know. I really don't know why it's so different, or why it's so hard for some people to just compromise. Just compromise. Compromise when you're willing to, or compromise when you're putting your foot down or proving your point until you beat the dead horse. At least compromise. Ideally, you want to get to a point where it doesn't matter at all, ever. If you have that need to be the right one, or, again, especially when whatever the outcome is, whatever the right answer is, doesn't change your life at all. It changes your life zero, none. So who cares? You're gonna upset the chemistry and the tension and the vibe for that moment and however long going forward. Maybe days, maybe weeks, maybe you never recover from it at a certain point, if it's so many of these times in. Why? And, again, for the 100th time, I really owe that perspective and the ability to process things like that before reacting to those amazing examples that I had in my life growing up. My dad, my mom, my grandparents, both sets of grandparents. Just like unicorns for people. Amazing people. And I just feel like I learned a lot about pick your battles. Pick your battles. And I've wanted to say that so many times during this whole thing, but I just don't know how many battles are worth having. Don't pick your battles. Pick no battles. Pick no battles. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? And there's times where I'll know I'm right. Okay. And then I'll just, like I just said, oh, no kidding. Okay, well, blah, blah, blah. But then it didn't change anything in here. I'm still going to go do exactly what I was going to do beforehand. Or I'm still going to proceed with whatever. If I know I'm right and I know that what the end result of whatever it is that I'm doing is going to be, then I'm just going to do it. And here comes another piece to this whole situation. After I'm done and it ended the way I said it would, you know what I'm not going to do? Do you know what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to grab it and bring it to her, or grab her and bring her to it and say, see, I told you. See, I told you. You never listen to me. See, I told you. You always think I'm wrong. See? What? Okay. Good for you. Congrats. I literally never do that. Ever. Like I just said, I will pass it off as, oh, no kidding. I didn't realize that. Huh. Nothing changed in here. My plans didn't change. Nothing changed about what I was going to do. And you know what? Every now and then, she'll see whatever it is. Or whoever will see whatever it was. And they'll go, oh, you did it that way? And it worked? Oh, yeah. Yeah. But I don't revel in it. I don't rub it in their face. Nobody wants to feel like that. What do you think is gonna come of so many moments and situations like that? If that's how you handle every argument, how would you ever expect to last? And then you guys have the audacity, not you guys, sorry. And then people have the audacity to say things like there's no good men in the world, there's no good women in the world. Have you looked in the mirror? How much of a catch are you? Really? How much of a catch are you? How much are you willing to compromise? Say it with me. Compromise. How much are you willing to compromise? And like anything else, there's a limit, okay? You don't want to be taken advantage of. You don't want to be verbally abused, physically abused. None of that stuff is okay, all right? I think you guys know where I'm coming from. But again, I like to cover my bases. I'm not willing to compromise my integrity, okay? But no, I mean, there's a limit, okay? Both have to respect each other. If I'm just, again, gender doesn't matter, but if the woman has a man like that, but takes way too far advantage of it, that's a problem too. That's no better than the other guy, that has to be right every time they talk about something. I don't know, man. I just think that there's so many kids growing up in multiple homes for the stupidest reasons. I don't know. The whole nothing in this world that's worth having comes easy. That's not just like a fancy car or a big house or a bunch of money. That's love. That's relationships. That's everything. Relationships aren't easy. They're not supposed to be. You're two different people sharing a life together. Things are going to cross, clashes are going to happen. But how do you answer? How do you respond to it? How do you deal with it? I don't know. That's where I'm at with that. So, let me know what you guys think. YouTube and my patrons. What do you guys think about my take on all this? What is your opinion on compromise? And again, before you just, you're right, and he just blah, 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 blah. Make sure, and you very well might be right, but just always make sure to self-evaluate. I am constantly self-evaluating. Constantly. Probably to a fault. Definitely to a fault. But you know what? I'd rather over self-evaluate than be totally ignorant and oblivious to me morphing into just a jerk over time because I've become so unaware, self-unaware. Remain self-aware. It's hard, but once, it's like anything else, once you make those habits, it becomes just how you live. It just becomes who you are. I don't try to do any of these things. It's simply by stepping back and observing and then really breaking down situations in my head that I realize why our dynamic is the way that it is, or why we've been so successful as a couple in that sense, in a relationship sense. You know, we've never had money. We've never had money. Anytime we were doing well, I was never home because I was gone 70 hours a week. That's no exaggeration. Plus travel. We've had really hard times. Really hard. I told you we came out of addiction together. I'm going to tell you what. We had some really hard times. But there was always compromise. Always. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know your thoughts. You know. But yeah, just think about play out your last 2 or 3 arguments in your head. And not, it's hard. Again, it's hard. It's hard to be unbiased when you're talking about yourself, right? Pretty hard. But it's necessary. Play out your last 2 or 3 arguments in your head. Run them back in your head. Just watch the little mini movie of it in your head by yourself. And just try to see when things went wrong or what you could have done differently to have the outcome come out differently. And again, I am not perfect, guys. I'm just some dude that's madly in love with the mother of his 3 kids after 15 really hard years together. And I don't know, just been sitting back and thinking about why we've done so well and why we never fight. Ever. We disagree about something, it comes up and it's gone. It's a matter of a few words. Comes up and it's gone. Our kids are always making fun of us. Oh, you're so romantic. Because we're always hugging and whatever. You know, all the corny, mushy stuff. We love each other. But it's not easy all the time. It's compromise. Ugh, it's compromise. I could just go on and on and on and on and on. But I think I've made my point. I don't know how much more I could say to elaborate any further. But yeah, I don't know that this is a topic with enough talking points for another episode, so I'll just mention it because it really does tie into compromise. So many people just have to learn to laugh at themselves. It's okay to be wrong. It's okay. You're not a computer. You're not an alien. You're a human. You're a human being. It's okay to be wrong. You have to learn to laugh at yourself. And I think that's another big reason why we're so successful together, is we're both really good at that. And oftentimes we don't give the other one a choice. But in the most fun way possible. It's totally different than see. We make fun of each other. We'll just poke little fun at each other. And it totally takes all the tension and all the resentment. That none of that ever has a chance to even begin to build. Ever. It never even enters the room. Because we kill it before it can even evolve. Like, it's just not a thing. So just think about it. Think about some tough arguments that you've had with your significant other, the most recent ones, and just play them out again and just see what really happened. Did you compromise where you could? Did the outcome of the argument actually matter? For anything besides being right? Did it matter? Was somebody's life on the line? Were you guys, was the car getting repossessed? Were you getting evicted? Did it really matter? I don't know. That's SauceyDad's spiel on compromise. Thank you guys for listening. Again, my patrons, I love you guys. Happy Monday. YouTube, everybody else, Spotify, all the places this will end up. I love you guys. Thank you for hanging out with the SauceyFam. I will mention, real quick, before I go, one of my incredible patrons took it upon herself to start a little fundraiser thing for my birthday. Which is very humbling. I have to certainly be careful talking about it because, still walking the emotional tightrope here. Yeah. So anyways, what I wanted to say about that, it's a GoFundMe thing, but what I wanted to say about it is she took it upon herself to start it. She made a really cool picture for it. She wrote out this whole thing about stuff. And she did such a great job. She put so much thought into it. It really means the world. Like, it's more than the world. And I got the email. She didn't even send it to me for like a week or something like that. So she was trying to do it without even telling me, which, shocker. You guys are just... Saucy Mom and I were literally just talking about it before I came up here, but you guys are just the most amazing people. Unbelievable people. So anyways, I will eventually get to my point, which is... She sent it to me in my email and it had 2 buttons. Accept, decline. And my thumb was so close to the decline button. So close. And I put my phone down. I was obviously getting emotional. And because it's a big deal. And I just started thinking about it. Like, I'm constantly being told that I need to work on asking and accepting help. That has been a journey for probably half my life. But you know what? I hit accept. I said to myself, self, we're going to embrace this. We're going to embrace this time. We're going to say thank you. We're going to mean it. We're going to embrace it. And then you know what we're going to do? We're going to use this as a catapult for the rest of the Saucy journey. That's what we're going to do. I'm going to use that and whatever comes of it. I'd like to catch up, if you will, on a couple things that have fallen behind. Stuff for the recording room, stuff for the content, but then other stuff like life stuff, cars and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I'm going to use this as a way to clean my stress slate. I'm going to embrace it. And then you know what? I'm going to do nothing but give back to you guys in every way that I know how to, from now till kingdom come, as my amazing grandmother used to say, rest in peace, Mame. But, yeah, man. So that's that. You guys can find it. I don't know where she posted it. Apparently people were finding it. So she posted it somewhere. Maybe it's in the Discord. The patrons, maybe you already know where it is. I don't know. But for everybody else, I put a post about it on the community page, and I'm going to stick it in the description of a few videos. My birthday is, I don't know, 2 weeks from now. I don't know that I'll let it run that long. We'll see. I don't know. I'm working on it. But again, thank you guys. Thank you to everybody that has given to it already. I mean, you guys are just unbelievable. So amazing. So amazing. I was telling Saucy Mom about it, trying to form words. She's like, you know, they're really amazing people. And I was just like, yeah, I don't really know what else to say. They're incredible. Absolutely incredible. And just, it's exciting. It's humbling, but it's very exciting because I just feel like we're going to go so far up from here. I don't know how we can't. I don't know how we wouldn't. So I'm just going to keep on keeping on. You know? I feel like if I can get this podcast out every week and stay as consistent as possible on YouTube, and then obviously give my patrons as much content as possible as well, finding a routine with that stuff would not be that hard. I mean, it really wouldn't be. It's very feasible. But when you add a bajillion other things on the mind, especially when you're somebody that doesn't dump your stuff on other people and just kind of keeps it in here, there's only so much space in here. It's about this much, if I'm being honest. It's about a golf ball. No, but seriously, I am fully capable. I have everything that I need, and if not, I'd make it. It's just kind of how I was raised. But I have everything I need to have an organized routine for the things that I'm trying to do. It's not that hard, you know? It's not that hard. It's a lot of work, but it's not that hard. It's certainly something that I am beyond capable of doing. It's just everything else has kind of a lot of baggage. The anchor has gotten a little big. So this one last time, I will humbly embrace it, and I am so driven to just use whatever comes of it as a catapult to an amazing, saucy future for our whole community as it grows. I'm excited, man. I really am. So yeah, if you're looking for it, it'll be in the description of those videos. It's on a little post on the community page. I think that's it. I don't really know. But anywho, almost an hour in now. So hope you guys enjoyed. I love you all. See you in next week's episode 3 of the Inner Sauce, the Tiz podcast. Till then, SauceyDad over and out. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Stay safe out there, guys. Peace out. SauceyFam.